Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Leah Darling, and she's seeing what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today. In, of course, a rather late night episode. Did have D&D today, and then I just proceeded not to record for a couple of hours. But yeah, what are we going to talk about? I'm not sure necessarily, but we're going to figure out. You know what I do? I meant to start with an apology. There's one of my friends who was actually part of that roller coaster group on that roller coaster episode I talked about, corrected me on one of the things I said, one of the things which I don't even remember I said, but hold on. Good evening everyone, I'm here with a late night broadcast. Right now on Fawnhallow it's 1:11 AM on what should be Monday, September 8th, 2025. But yes, he corrected me when I said something like, oh, they went on a roller coaster. I must have said something like they thought it was like maybe like a simple low stake child's roller coaster, but he wanted me to correct myself and say, well, not wanted me to correct myself, was, you know, saying the actual turn of events was they thought it was like a water based roller coaster, like a Rumble Rapids sort of thing, not a water flume, like a one where you sort of just like drift casually in the water. So there you go. Apologies to that friend for getting the context wrong. But then we had a conversation afterwards about the fact that, you know, I watched a video of it and I was like, whoa, wooden coaster, that's genuinely so cool. Because I don't think I have ridden on a wooden coaster, but I don't think I've ridden on that older wooden coaster before. How much space does this take up? What now? Anyway, what are we going to talk about? I'm not really sure. I don't really have many holiday conversations left to talk about. I think I've basically spoken about everything, or everything which I can speak about for a reasonable length of time. Should we talk about something random? What's going on in my gacha games? I will say Uma Musume right now. I'm trying very hard to make it okay gold ship. It's very difficult. Because the thing I realised was like, oh, you know, I'm missing a lot of monies to actually ascend my gold ship. Turns out it's not just monies I'm missing. Turns out I don't have enough other flags as well. So I'm just like, well, okay, well, what am I going to do? I guess I'll try and find out a better grandparent, Naruto Taishin, in like, what, a few days? I have a usable gold ship, but it's not quite good enough. That's probably what I'd say. So it's a real struggle. It's a real struggle. Trying to get this all sorted. Because genuinely, it's probably the most difficult. I mean, I know there's only been 2 CMs, but the first CM, so much easier to train for. This one, absolute nightmare. That's what I would say, at least. Low battery, ignore that. Anyway. I'm not gonna sit here and just play it on my phone. What about my other phone? How much battery is this on? 48? I should probably just turn this off because I'm not using it. Oh. Apparently I had Starlight Stage open this entire time. No wonder it's on 48%. Yeah, I still have my other phone around. Do I still play games on it? Sometimes not that much. The thing is, a lot of my games you can only have one account on. Annoyingly, Project Sakai is one of them, because that's one of the best ones to have on auto mode on a different phone. So I have to have auto mode on my main phone, and then do stuff on my other phone. I still actually do use this phone from time to time, mainly for just like browsing social media while I'm playing a different game. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I saw this conversation about Silksong, but in general people are having a very good time. My friend's playing it and they're having a great time. So, you know, I'm nothing but looking forward to the experience. But I did see there was an interesting article in front of Reddit about Hollow Knight and Silksong, about debates about high difficulty and runbacks. Runbacks being like the movement, I suppose, the traversal you have to do after dying to a boss to get back to the stage of fighting a boss again. And I'm fully agreed. Like, it's an absolute nightmare, I think. Doing anything of that sort, you know, having a run back. I've said it plainly and simply every single time just being like, I hate doing a run back portion of a game. I love it when a game's just like, it's super difficult, but I can get straight back into the action, which is why, you know, Cuphead, it ended up being one of my favourite games, mainly because it's so snappy. You immediately down a boss, you get back to it, straight back into it. Hollow Knight, I feel like Hollow Knight definitely had a few sections where you had to sort of run back to a boss fight. You know, another thing, I guess, to appreciate something like another Crab's Treasure for is the fact that it basically respawned you at the boss fight every time. So that was certainly quite convenient. Trying to think of other difficult games I played and what they did. I mean, Super Meat Boy is kind of like the king, obviously, of a run back. It's so unbelievably snappy. Each level is like under a minute long. So everything's sort of straight back into it. But yeah, I don't know. I was reading through the comments. I was trying my best basically not to spoil myself, and I did a pretty decent job. The only thing that I kind of got from it is the fact that there is supposedly some fights later on where there is like a really quite a lengthy run back between the nearest respawn point and the boss. Now, it's been a very long time since I played the first one, so I don't actually remember what the run backs were like in the first one. I'm like, that seems a bit excessive. But I know it's not to my personal taste, but that doesn't mean it's not to everyone's taste, and it doesn't mean there's not a purpose for them. Because I suppose without risk or without difficulty, then, you know, what's the point of having a punishing sort of game mechanic like this? You might be like, well, it's anti-fun. Well, I mean, at the same time, I guess that's kind of what it's going for, right? It's not, they didn't put that mechanic in the game to be like, oh, you know, I think people be like, I'm having a swell time, and it's not sad at all when I die or something, I then lose all my currency. But it's very much a situation that I think, or not even I think, it just is a situation where it's like, well, we're doing it because that's kind of our intention, isn't it? It's meant to be a challenging thing. A risk of dying is what's meant to make it motivational to not die. Now, do I agree that it's fun? No. Like, I would still, given the option, choose to have it such that that wouldn't be the case, and I could just sort of respawn immediately and get straight back into the action. But alas, that is not the case. Alas, instead, sometimes you have a bit of a run back. So generally, I don't know how bad it is in Silksong. Maybe there's a way to mitigate it, maybe people are exaggerating, but I generally can't even remember what it was like in the main Hollow Knight. The only one I really remember is doing the Path of Hallowness over and over again and getting very tired of fighting the start of a boss like 30 times in a row just to have one attempt at Radiant Hollow, Radiant whatever. Like, that might be a Hollow Knight spoiler now I think about it, but the final boss of a Path of Hallowness. And, you know, that was the thing I ended up getting annoyed by. But I also, you know, I recognise it was like the grandioseness of it all. It was there because it was an ultimate challenge. And the satisfaction I felt from actually defeating it, was it worth it? To a certain extent. It is something I probably, on reflection, maybe I should have done off camera, but I know I wouldn't have even done it off camera, so what's the point? But yeah. I probably should have talked about when you're coming back into D&D, I suppose. It's definitely some time off. But the campaign we had today was coming back into a very, very big sort of like revelation and plot point. Which, I mean, honestly, this entire session I think was just discussions about trying to figure out what's happening, put together all the pieces that we've now got. I mean, I don't know if they literally have all the pieces. I think they have enough what they could, and probably can figure out the entire story. Whether they have or not, I don't know. Who knows, they won't tell me. But yeah, that's it. There's not really much else to say. It's something which hopefully a session makes more sense in the retrospective of knowing the full story entirely. But yeah, I guess we're talking about running backs, and not the American football position. I'm trying to think, what was the game I played with like a terrible like runback? Like, upon dying, respawning, you had to make your way through so much of it again just to do something. I mean, I guess most roguelites are like that, aren't they? That's kind of a point of them, because the process to get there is different. Part of me wonders if I'm getting to that point with blueprints, because it was one of the biggest criticisms I saw of blueprints, where it was just like when trying to complete out the final goals or whatever, waiting for the RNG to align to actually get something to do is mind-numbing. I will say though, I did manage to get one thing done in the most recent stream, which definitely was like something I was like, this is something I wanted to do for ages, but literally there's been no opportunity to. And I even I played well to set myself up for it essentially. I will say the word train, and if you play blueprints you will know what I'm talking about. Took a heck of a long time to get that set up. Yeah, what games have I played which had like a crazy sort of run back time? Tunic? Did Tunic have a long one? I don't think it did. Maybe it did. Maybe like the Colosseum part did, but even then it wasn't probably that long. I can't even remember Okami. I can't even remember dying in Okami. It probably happened a couple of times, but Cuphead's now, I think, was very snappy. Oh, Anarchy was one. I always talk about, because getting 100% on Anarchy was mind-numbing. Because the problem with Anarchy is the levels were so long. Well, could be very long and very punishing. Because basically, long and short, I don't think there's anything actually wrong with the game, but I definitely shouldn't have recorded it. Long and short, you had 3 categories, and to get the S rank, you had to basically meet 2 other categories, and the categories were like characters lost, time spent, and things destroyed, maybe? I can't remember. The enemies defeated. Which meant that if you played a level and you was like, oh, okay, this is a level where it's difficult to speedrun, so I'll focus on the other 2 categories. If you lose just 1 person too many, or fail to defeat 1 more enemy, then you just lose everything, and it's like, well, that kind of sucks. And that's what I remember from it. I didn't really have any run back, I suppose. You just keep going forward. Death's Door? I don't really remember Death's Door. What the run backs were like in that game, to be honest. I don't even remember most of the bosses. I mean, I think Death's Door had Death's Door had quite short run backs, I think, because they often had save points right before a boss. Ori, I don't even remember the run backs of the bosses. Celeste? Well, Celeste is like the opposite. Celeste is kind of like Super Meat Boy esque, where it's just like super snappy, isn't it? Immediately back into the action. I guess I haven't played all that many mechanical based games now I look at it. 9 Souls is not bad. I mean, I feel like all Souls likes do the same thing with have a bit of a run back. Actually, to be fair, I am finding it a bit in 9 Souls. There's been a couple that like one of the bosses I remember, like you had to have a bit of a run back until I figured out that you could actually just run past the boss, unlock the door behind it, and then that basically unlocked a much faster way to get to a boss. That made it a lot easier, or bearable, I should say. Can't think of another one though, necessarily off the top of my head. Oh well. I'm going to round this episode off short, mainly because it's pretty late, to be honest, and I don't really know what else to say about this. So if you haven't, I apologise, probably not the most riveting episode, but if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been dear darling, likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated, socials, Discord down below. Hope to see you again, but for now, it's farewell, so until next time, bye bye for now.